What is up, Watch fam? Happy Wednesday, and welcome to this week's collection review. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and today we're going to be jumping into a terrific collection, from super vintage Grandpa Waltons all the way up to white gold Rolex day-dates. All right, before we jump into today's review, a quick wristwatch check. I am wearing my first Rolex, a reference 1601 Datejust from 1977. It turns 40 this year. Happy birthday, Datejust. It's got a beautiful blue dial, and it was the watch, without question, that solidified my love for vintage watches, particularly vintage Rolex. So that's it. Let's get into my review of a T&H watch fan, Keith's collection. First, we've got a Tag Heuer Professional, something that definitely embodies its tool function, as it is a very durable, kind of like, kick its ass and it'll still keep on ticking kind of watch. It's an odd watch because it's one of the Quartz tags that kind of began the depreciation of the Tag Heuer brand, but that certainly doesn't necessarily make it itself an evil watch by any means. And in Keith's collection, it's actually quite interesting. It was a gift for his 18th birthday. It was his first respectable watch. It's a cornerstone, the beginning. So now let's move on to what it evolved into. For starters, a JLC Reverso that he was gifted for his wedding day by his wife. I love the caseback inscription here. It says, "Don't be late," which is very, very good advice on the day of your wedding. I love the condition this is in. I mean, it's beaten up. It's a daily wearer. And to me, although that is kind of the antithesis of what a Reverso is supposed to be, I think it makes it all the more meaningful, right? The scars and the scratches, in a very kind of like, poetic, I guess, way, represent everything that the watch and you have been through and your marriage has been through over the course of, your marriage. So to me, that actually is quite nice. Those scratches are quite endearing. So that's a nice little alternative perspective. It's not damage, it's love. Moving on, a Rolex 6694, which you brought up a nice little conversation here. The watch has a replaced non-Cyclops crystal, which I think is awesome. To me, the originality of a Rolex crystal is very unimportant. I think it's one of the few kind of variables in a watch that you can have, you could take some liberty with. I have done the same thing with my Rolex. I have swapped it out for a dome crystal. Obviously not original to this Rolex. I still have the original crystal. It kind of refreshes the watch and its look to me, and it does all that without challenging the integrity of the watch itself. So awesome little decision. I'm glad that you are having some fun with your watches. Next, you've got an awesome Tudor Black Bay Blue. Definitely a watch that I like and I appreciate very much. I think it's terrific that you can wear this watch, which I believe is 42 millimeters. I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments if I am. Next to the 6694. It just shows to me that you have such comfort in your watch collecting. Okay, moving on to your last watch. I believe your most recent watch was a watch from us here at T&H. A Rolex reference 1803 in white gold. A crazy cool watch. To me, one of the most interesting, beautiful, under-the-radar watches, particularly in the Rolex world, you can possibly buy. Obviously, it's got the beautiful dress version of the oyster case, but in white, it just has this certain level of charm that the yellow gold lacks. I remember being super happy shipping this one off to you. Okay, before I jump into my recommendations for your collection, a quick sidebar into your wife's collection. She has two beautiful Cartiers. One is a Tank Française, and then one I believe might be a Panther. I'm not sure which model it is, but it's in yellow gold. I think it's super beautiful and refined. I love that your wife has an interest and passion in Cartier. I think, as I've said this before many times, it's one of the most interesting and undervalued brands in the market. Of course, retail, they're healthily valued, but on the secondhand and vintage markets, I think that they're way under where they should be. Your wife is definitely on the right track. Now into my recommendations for both your collections and hers. Yours first. I think that because you've expressed your openness to going into smaller sizes, 34, your Walton is probably even smaller than that, you should really explore, vintage options from Omega, for example, or Girard-Perregaux. Not particularly smaller brands, but vintage, approachable, affordable brands. They've got so much going for them in little intricate details. Things that I look at and can't believe they're not worth double. And really, the biggest reason, one, because of their size, which we've already established that you're more than welcome to wear. And the biggest drawback, the biggest kind of ceiling on the value of these watches is their size. And that size, while it does cut them out from so many consumers, allows people like us, people like you, to own them for anywhere between $900 and $1,800, which, although of course is a lot of money, is affordable in the world of vintage watch collecting. Now, for my recommendation for your wife, I think you should get her an oyster case. I know that sounds cliche, but for a woman with two beautiful Cartiers, I think that a vintage 34mm yellow gold oyster perpetual, for instance, would be incredible. You're talking about prices way below Datejust, but things that pack really equal value, again, if you're okay with the size. If your wife doesn't mind 34mm, which she clearly doesn't. Keith, it's been a pleasure knowing you thus far, a pleasure reviewing your collection, and I really hope to speak with you soon. Guys, thank you so much for watching this collection review. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and comment down below with what you think Keith should buy next.